Hello and welcome to the Punchline. I'm your comic strip critic. This one threw me for a loop. Usually when I review a newspaper comic, I go about it in one of two different ways. If it's a comic that features storylines, I pick a storyline that I feel represents the comic particularly well and review that. If it's a comic that only does gag-a-day strips, then I pick and choose individual comics to discuss. The only exceptions to that format are my webcomic episodes, because the webcomics I usually read and review are one continuous story that lasts for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of strips. So with those, even though they are a storyline, I just pick and choose the things that I want to showcase, because trying to choose a single storyline out of context of the bigger picture feels just wrong. I never thought I'd have to do that with a newspaper comic, because what cartoonist would be crazy enough to run only storyline strips? Well, going by that logic, Greg Evans is apparently nutty enough to fill up Scrat's acorn stash. I love that guy. So, Greg Evans. It was in 1984 that Evans saw his 5-year-old daughter Karen walking around in her mother's clothes and jewelry, and came up with the idea for a comic strip about a middle school teenaged girl, exploring all the jokes, drama, and foibles of life found within. And that's how we got the comic strip that made him the Outstanding Cartoonist of the Year for 2003, Luann. Now, to be fair, Luann doesn't actually run in my local paper, but a whole lot of you have been wanting me to check it out, and it's available for free on GoComics, so let's see what it's all about. This is Luann. Luann is, currently anyways, a high school junior looking into college. Although she's the title character, there is a huge cast of characters backing her up. Her whole family is named, her brother has his own major story arcs, and her classmates, both friends and enemies, get storylines as well. Some of the other major characters in the strip include Luann's brother Brad, who decided to become a firefighter after September 11th, and is currently engaged to Tony Daytona, a fellow firefighter. Luann's parents remind me a whole lot of Connie and Walt Duncan, better known as the parents from Zits. Mom is the supportive heart, and Dad is the provider and authority figure. Her friends at school include Bernice, the pessimistic cynic, and Delta. Wait, really? Delta? Who names their kid Delta? Delta is a very ambitious go-getter who volunteers in almost anything she can find time for. I'm actually reminded a little bit of another famous comic strip family when reading Luann, but while the Fox family is characterized in broad sweeping archetypes, jock, geek, lazy dad, etc., etc., the cast of Luann is a bit more nuanced than that. Probably the biggest difference is that Luann has been through multiple boyfriends, something that poor Paige Fox never had. Early on, Luann pined for Aaron Hill, later she had a brief encounter with an exchange student from Spain, and now she's seen an Australian named Quill. I like Quill. He's really put some work into this, such as the time when he set up a romantic Skype dinner for Valentine's Day from all the way across the Pacific. Very nice, man. Guys, take notes. Oh yeah, I really should. This is probably the most frequently recurring part of the strip. There are other things going on, to be certain. The college search, ongoing rivalries with the snobby cheerleader Tiffany, assorted jobs, but it usually comes back to the various romances. And you know what? That's fine. No, really, it is. These are all interesting to read, and there's everything from casual dates to nervous awkwardness to odd couples to serious romantic relationships. My favorite is either Luann and Quinn or Brad and Tony. Part of what makes both of them nice is just how much time is spent growing these relationships. For example, Tony was first introduced in the strip in 2002, but she and Brad didn't get interested in each other until late April of 2009, when Brad caught her from falling off a ladder. Tony took care of them in thanks, a little Florence Nightingale later, and they wound up engaged in April of 2013. But it's not always smooth sailing. They get into fights sometimes, fights which always seem grounded in reality, but come out of it better and wiser. Okay, sure, 11 years might seem like a long time to be dating before you finally get engaged, but remember, this is comic strip time. It doesn't always line up perfectly with the real world. After all, the comic's been running for 29 years almost, and Luann's only just gone from middle school to high school, so it's probably going to be another 5 years at least before Brad and Tony finally get married. I actually wonder if Greg Evans has anything planned for them until then. Let's take a look. Readers should prepare for some drama and trauma with Brad and Tony's wedding. No! So as you might have guessed by now, I'm a big fan of Luann's writing. So how's the artwork? Well, the artwork's fantastic. There are some comic strips that really evolve their artwork over time, and there's very few examples that are better than Luann. I mean, check it out. This was Luann in 1985, and this is Luann today. Oh my gosh, it's great these days. The characters are all excellently designed, from hairstyles to heights and weights to different eyes and makeup. I can instantly identify everyone at a glance. Ahem. The colors are bright, vivid, and eye-catching, and the backgrounds are just as well done as the rest of the artwork. I'd put this art right up there with Heavenly Nostrils, in fact. It's wonderful. Guys, I really like Luann.
Please be 18.
The comic's good too. I should note that while Greg Evans started the strip flying solo, he's not doing it alone anymore. The little girl who inspired Luann, his daughter Karen, she now helps to co-write the comic, sometimes planning things out a full year in advance. So the girl who created Luann is now creating Luann. Alright, that works. It's a good system, I think. The one writer, one artist setup works great for other comics like Zits, Baby Blues, Penny Arcade, and Dick Tracy. Why it doesn't work for Garfield, I'll probably never know. But having a younger person helping write keeps the teenage culture and use of modern technology like FaceTime and Twitter and Skype feeling really authentic. Zits is a parody of the teenage years, and it's an excellent parody. But Luann is the real, authentic, true-to-life thing. This is the soap opera strip that Mary Worth, Funky Winkerbean, and Judge Parker are trying to be. And even that's not accurate. It's not a soap opera strip, it's a teenage sitcom strip, like Zoe 101. That's not the point. Moving on. Do I have any complaints? Not really. The dog Puddles has a somewhat out of place and overly cartoony design, but it's so cute that I really can't fault it. When the characters look straight up, there's something about the way that the mouth and nose are illustrated that irks me, but those happen so rarely that I don't really care. So if those are the only complaints that I can come up with for the comic, then Luann definitely gets my seal of awesome. Writing the script for this episode actually took a lot longer than it should have just because I got distracted reading the comic so much. So I hope that says something about how much I enjoyed it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have about another 28 years worth of archives to go through, so you might not hear from me for the next year. Wait, what are you talking about? Really? Okay, I need to go make a birthday cake. I'm your comic strip critic, and I read the funny pages in the hope that someday they will be. See ya! Text? We're not using that music. Pick something else. Thank you.
This way, your job's a joke, you broke